Girls of Reddit, what are some of the most obvious signs or hints you've given to a guy you like that he was totally or seemingly oblivious to? My ex once had a cute bubbly female friend of his come over. She was younger than him and thought he was amazing. When they were hanging out in the bathroom at his place, don't know why, she decided then and there to take off her clothes and have a shower right in front of him. He just continued playing his guitar and tried not to look at her. She didn't visit him anymore after that. Must learn enough guitar so I can pick up chicks. Man, it's so lonely in this shower. What was that? I think if you're at the point where you're naked in front of him, you're also at the point when you can just bluntly state, look, I like you. Get naked and get in here or I'm leaving. I feel this story may be a winner. I have a mate who is horribly useless with women. Can't talk to them. Can't get their hints and most importantly, can't decipher their hidden messages. Having had a girlfriend for a few years, I was not too bad at figuring out these messages. But I have no idea how my mate missed this particular one. He had been keen on this one girl who had been flirting with him for weeks. And as we all lived on res at uni, they were always bumping into one another. Anyway, after a function we all get home very drunk and he receives a text from her complaining that she is incredibly horny and upset because the batteries in her vibrator have run out and wanted to know if he could help her. So being the genius that he is, he takes 2 AA batteries out of his Xbox controller, walks to her dorm, slips them under the door and yells out, "You're welcome." It was only in the morning when I informed him that she was desperate for some loving that he realized the mistake he had made. Still give him shit for it to this day. We were in high school in computer class. She asked me to come over and help her. So I sat down next to her and started showing her computer stuff. Then she grabs me by the wrist, presses my forearm into her boobs and says biceps, and all I could think was, that's my forearm. When I was younger and really interested in a guy, I would invite him to a movie, video game, shopping, walk, etc, and at some point during the event I would ask to compare hands and then just kind of not let go once we were done. A couple of guys got it right away and it was awesome to see them blush and kind of light up a bit. One guy simply told me my hand was too warm and let go. Every other girl in this thread, listen to this one. In high school I invited my first boyfriend over at 1 AM. While my parents were out of town to watch Balto. We watched the whole damn thing. He gave me a hug and biked home. To be fair, it's a pretty bitchin' movie. I'd give you a hug too if you made me watch Balto at 1 AM when your parents were out of town. I literally asked the guy out, and he didn't get it. You could practically see the invitation soar over his head. It wasn't like he was politely rejecting me. He didn't get it. A lot of guys aren't used to being wanted. Saved quote. In addition to the tell us line, an observation to make is that it is very rare for a guy to give a negative reaction to the attentions of a woman. At worst, it will be a not interested. And then at least you know. Often guys aren't as oblivious as many of us make out. They just know that. Short of outright saying it, anything else that women might tend to consider as signals can always be misread easily. One woman's just being friendly is another woman's signal of interest. And men usually have to deal with much stronger negative repercussions as a result of misreading these signals. Offered to show him my boobs. I got that at Halloween once. Was chatting with a girl, had a massive rack, and I jokingly asked how much of it was the costume. She said come to the bathroom and find out, to which I replied nah, it's okay. Oblivious guy here. I called a fizzy drink soda pop. He said, that's so cute. If any guy ever asked me out for a soda pop I would have to say yes. 2 years later I woke up in the middle of the night and realized she meant me. Backstory in short. Met a really awesome guy who was exactly my type and single. Only problem? Complete and utter friend zone. To the point where I was told we're such great buddies. This guy who had been friend zoning me for months finally invited me to hang out with him. Alone. At his house. With no one there but us and a couch. So I got dressed up a little more than usual and was promptly there at the designated time. A mutual friend of ours showed up to hang out and ended up on the couch while we shared a blanket on the floor. He kept being annoying by singing along to the musical we were watching. So I got coy and threatened to bite his tongue. After I did, he laughed. So I kissed him. Still nothing. I had to look him in the eyes and tell him I like you a lot and kissed you on purpose. We should go out sometime. For it to click. We have been dating for 6 months. Came into this thread hoping to find out that I'm an oblivious idiot. All that has happened is that I have confirmed that no girl has ever came onto me. I was practically on top of my now fiance and he still thought we were just cuddling. In high school my cousin was offered a ride home from a cute girl that he liked. He was confused when she passed his house. But he didn't say anything. She drove for a bit and pulled into an empty, secluded parking lot. Then she looked over at him and said something along the lines of, "Now that we're stopped here, is there anything you want to do?" He thought for a second and then said, "Yeah. I don't think my door's shut all the way." So he opened his door and re-shut it. The girl gave him a weird look and just drove him home. He said he literally walked into his room, sat down on his bed, and then let out a big dot. OHHHH. Girl sent me nudes to cheer me up. Proceeded to send her a picture of a cat. Now realizing my mistake. Do you want a hookup? When I showed up at his house he was actually surprised that I wanted to have sex with him. I literally said, "I just want to have sex with you. Please stop talking." I've been this guy. Sometimes we really are in disbelief that a girl actually wants to have our penis inside of her. We're not playing dumb. It's genuinely surprising. Can I say one I was oblivious to? I was out of town, chatting to a girl at a bar. We figured out I was 13 inches taller than her. She said, "That's funny. I'm going on a date with a guy who is 13 inches taller than me tomorrow. And I'll probably FCK him after." My response? "Well, that's a weird coincidence. I didn't figure it out until I was on a plane home. Pilot, turn the plane around." I was just thinking about how girls have never dropped any hints for me to miss, and then I remembered that I don't go anywhere or talk to any girls. Approximately 450 comments in. I literally told my so that I came in my sleep while dreaming of him. But no. Nothing. Sigh. Guy here. A girl at a party told me I look just like the lead singer from Everything Everything. I'd never heard of that band, but UHH. Thanks. I guess I'll Google it at some point. So a bit later, a pretty catchy song came on and she said something about how she would FCK anyone who looks at all like the guy from this band. You can see where this is going. But it whooshed right over my head. On the drive home, that same catchy song came on the radio. And then the DJ said that was Cough Cough by Everything Everything, and I nearly crashed my car when my dick climbed out of my pants and punched me in the face. A co-worker who was engaged was talking to me about how she wanted to have one last fling before she got married. And wanted it to be with a married man so there wouldn't be much of a chance of it getting out to anyone else. I'm married and it didn't dawn on me what she was suggesting until years later. To be fair, though, wouldn't have happened even if I had clued in on it. I'm a guy. And a friend weaseled her way over to watch a movie at my place with me. I didn't think too much of it. We were happily watching a movie. Then another. Me on my side of the couch. Her on her side. After the second movie, she just looked over at me and said out loud, "OFCK it." At that point, she literally just jumped me. And, as clever as I am, that's the moment I realized she was interested in me. When she was on top of me removing her clothes. I'm pretty quick sometimes. Women have read it. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. Cause we're too damn stupid to figure it out. As a guy I miss these signals all the time, but I think the worst was one time when I was sick and this girl came over to my house and gave me flowers and chocolates. She was really nice to everyone, so I just thought she was being really nice. Last night at a bar I was playing some pool and this woman was standing with her friend and said rather loudly, "I just want to meet a guy with a beard." They hung around a bit longer and then left. I was busy playing pool and didn't think about it. Once they left, my friends looked at me and screamed, "You're the only f***ing idiot out here with a beard." I'm dumb. IDK if this counts. But here it is. I had gone on a date with this guy. But he was a little new to the whole dating thing. No big deal. But made him a little oblivious. A few days after our date we were sitting in the cafeteria of our college. Just sitting and chatting. I place my hand on his leg while laughing. And leave it there afterwards. His reaction. "What? Is something wrong?" "Wait. Shti." I knew that was a sign of attraction. But do girls think of this as a legitimate move? My friend does this to me all the time. But I assumed it was just her being a sort of flirty person. She and I have f***ed around in the past. But she's dating some dude now. So I didn't think anything of it. She told me she likes tall, muscular, hairy guys. A few days later she asked me why guys don't pick up on hints. I'm a tall, muscular, hairy guy. We're dating now. Texted a guy I work with, "So what are you up to tonight?" As a prelude to asking if he wanted to get drinks or something. Instead of texting he calls me and says, "Why? What's going on?" Thought I was about to hand him some work related emergency. Haha. No, I was just wondering. Oh, okay. Thank God. Haha, bye. Hangs up the phone. No. But. I was. You. Never mind. To be fair. There are those of us who literally never get contacted by anyone unless something needs doing. Every time I hear my phone ding, I'm terrified that another one of my friends has dropped an electromagnet in her computer again or something equally silly. Man. I ask girls all the time, "So what are you up to tonight?" With no intent or anything. Totally just making conversation and wondering if they are doing anything really cool. Seriously. I ask people this like every day. I think the problem with a lot of these is that a lot of guys have trouble not assuming that every girl that talks to them wants the D. So they train themselves to not react to it so they can continue functioning in society without being perverts. Edit. Also, none of the women who post seem to be considering the possibility of guys that just aren't interested. So women must have this problem too. I was talking to a girl I hadn't seen since we were kids. It was around the time of schools having their proms, formals and stuff. I asked her if she was taking anyone. And she said no. But I really want to go with someone and smiled and looked at me. I literally said, "Oh. I hope you find someone," and brushed it off. Not exactly smooth. So much for that username. Dude here. Girl at work is standing in front of the door I need to walk through with her back turned to me. I say excuse me and wait for her to move. Instead of stepping to the side, she drops her pen and literally digs her ass into my crotch. I'm talking sliding the weenie between the buns here. Didn't think anything of it. Couple days later she's like, "Hey, shock 37. Some of us from work are going to the bar later. But I need a date. Know anyone who wants to go?" My response. Not off the top of my head. Yeah. I'm not suave. On behalf of men everywhere. Dude. The FCK. Me. Wow, your muscles are super impressive. Him. Yeah, I work out at such and such gym, you should check it out. Me. I mean, I'm already checking you out. But sure, I'll give it a try. Him. Okay, see ya around. Me. Fassapum. Edit. Okay guys, I get it, I'm awful at pickup lines. You hit on a guy with that line? And you guys laugh at our damn girl. That is fine. I was on like a week-long trip with a group from my high school. The whole week. I'm like leaning on this guy I like when we're on the bus or train. Hanging on his arm or hugging him. At some point I said, "I hope this doesn't bother you." I just feel really comfortable with you like this. You don't mind that I keep touching you, do you? And he was like, no. It's fine. Go ahead. Dot. I've liked this guy for 4 freaking years. For 3.5 years I've been thinking I should just give up and get over it. But then I see threads of guys going I should have guessed. If I had only realized. And then I think I should just be more direct. But I just started college and hey. Guess what? We go to the same university. Live like 2 minutes apart. Go to the same dining hall. He's like my only non-online connection back to our high school. Thousands of miles away. And I don't want things to be uncomfortable. So instead I just whine on Reddit. Girl next door. Could you walk me home? I get nervous in the dark. Me. I can see your house from here. The lights are on. Just text me when you get inside. Calder had a sweet makeout session in the bushes. Multiple times. Maybe he was afraid of the dark. This is one I was oblivious to. I was hanging out with a lady friend. We were both around 20. We're talking about how we are both virgins and I say yeah I just need to find someone to sleep with. And she goes yeah me too. Now who could I sleep with? Do you have any ideas? Nope sorry. Dunno. Dot. FCK man. A conversation with this girl somehow led to I've never had an Asian penis before. I didn't realize what she meant until a few months later. TL. DR. She ordered the egg roll. I always turn up late to the party. Here's mine. I was in a bar one night when someone pinched my ass. I turned around and there were 2 beautiful girls standing there holding each other. They said something along the lines of hey. Have you ever been with 2 girls before? I was like haha. Nope and turned back to my drink. I should kick my own ass. It. I hope my Google Glass comes with a female hint detector. Oblivious male here. I was at a club with some friends when a cute girl walked right up to me. Grabbed my arm. And started walking away with it. I didn't move at all and just waited for her to let go. I didn't realize what I had done until my friend yelled at me. But by then it was too late and she was lost in the crowd. Ladies. We are very dumb. Just say something as if you were writing a legal contract with clear terms and conditions. Comma grabbed my arm. And started walking away with it. Was it prosthetic? It may not be the topic. But here's a story of me trying to pick up on hints that weren't there. Hot girl. I really like this one guy. He's tall. Brain. Wait. I'm tall. Asterisk. HG. He plays drums. Brain. I play drums. Asterisk. HG. Dot. And he's single right now. Brain. I'm single right now. I should ask this girl out. Asterisk. HG. It's Jeff. Look the guy in the face. I have feelings for you. He laughs. Colon. Speaking from my personality. I would have laughed as a nervous reaction. I wouldn't have meant it. That's me though. Was at a bonfire party and sharing a sleeping bag with this absolutely hot but shy guy. I told him I couldn't sleep in jeans and commenced with getting naked and slowly putting sweats on. Wiggling and all that jazz in the sleeping bag with his drunk ass right next to me. He laughed nervously and mentioned that I might be crazy. He never made a move that night. But 14 years later he is definitely better at reading my hints. The reason guys don't pick up on these damn hints is because we're afraid of coming off as some sort of rapist if we're wrong. So please be as obvious as humanly possible. I flirted. I touched his leg. I kissed his cheek. I pressed myself up against him. I always hugged him. And I always held his hand. He still did not understand that I liked him and wanted to kiss him. I later found out I was his first everything. Whoops. Edit. I held his hand. Not held his held. After seeing a movie and grabbing ice cream with a guy. I rested his head on my shoulder, my head on his shoulder, and told him I would love for him to take me home. Mentioning that my mother was out of town and my sister was staying at a friend's house. He dropped me off at the front door and waved goodbye. Did you ask him to come in or just mention that everyone was gone? Like many have pointed out, a lot of these hints that girls are throwing out are seriously vague. If a girl mentioned she was home alone and I took that as a reason to invite myself in, and that's not what she was going for? Best case scenario, she thinks I'm a creep. Worst case, I may end up with a record. I'm starting to think that guys are dense. But that girls don't understand the risk of a misread signal. Less vague will get better results.